"Hey, can I have your chocolate bar?" she asked. Surprised, I looked around to make sure that it was me she was talking to. "Sure," I said, excited that she was just talking to me. "You're the best," she said as she grabbed it and walked off. She was the popular girl at school with lots of friends. I was the shy girl with no friends that still wore pigtails in grade 3. I couldn't believe that she had just come to talk to me. Yeah, it had cost me my chocolate bar, but what was a chocolate bar in comparison to having a friend? I guess we weren't really friends, but she walked across the gym to speak to me, and she called me the best. Kindness was not something I was used to. I grew up in a home with an abusive mother who took every opportunity she had to tell me that I wasn't enough. Pretty enough, interesting enough, anything enough. This left me, an awkward, shy girl with no friends, all alone and terrified. Her daily abuse created and fed a monster of unworthiness that grew within me until it consumed me. And that compliment, as hollow as it was, seemed to silence that monster just a little. I carried the elation of the popular girl talking to me as I ran home after school. When I packed my lunch that evening, I made sure to pack lots of fun treats I could share. The next day, the popular girl came back to ask me for some treats from my lunch, and I had lots to share. It wasn't long before her and her friends were sitting with me just so they could raid my lunch. For me, it just felt good not to sit alone. Thus became my very first experience of hustling for my worth. Maybe I wasn't good enough, pretty enough, interesting enough, but if I could just do things and convince people to like me, then I wouldn't be alone. This quickly became my way of starving the monster within. It's years later now, and I'm crawling out of bed with the third guy that week. I should feel desired, powerful, and strong. Look at all the attention coming my way. Look at all of these men interested in me. Instead, the smell of his cologne on my skin just sickens me. Sexual promiscuity had been my attempt to regain control over my mind and my body after a horrible divorce. A marriage that was supposed to heal me and kill the monster for good, until my husband had an affair and a child with someone else during our marriage. I would show him how desirable I was. I would show him how worthy I was. The problem I was realizing was the cost of that adoration was pieces of me. I was no longer giving away treats I could take from a cabinet and replace from a store. No, these treats were parts of me, my body, my dignity. The more I gave away, the bigger that void grew inside of me. I was still that little girl hustling for her worth, just waiting for someone to like her and see her. And these treats were expensive and irreplaceable, and the more I gave away, the worse I felt. The emptiness continued to grow inside of me. This old game of hustling for my worth, of giving away pieces of myself, doing things to try to get people to like me, to reclaim that control over my body, wasn't working anymore. The stakes were too high. I didn't feel powerful or in control. In fact, I felt more empty and worthless than ever. Deep down, I knew that my worth was greater than the things people could use me for and take from me. And I started to nurture that part of myself. And as I nurtured her, she became stronger until she became the biggest part of me. And I started to realize, and she gave me the courage to start showing up and just being instead of doing and trying. And I started to realize how much easier life is without hustling to be liked. Admittedly, at times like now, I still quiver in my boots. I wonder how I'll be received. Will I be enough? Will I be interesting enough, smart enough, pretty enough? But what I know for certain is that I cannot and will not hustle for my worth anymore, because I know that giving away pieces of myself won't make me feel whole. So instead, I've learned to ask myself, do I like me? Do I feel good in my own skin? Because at the end of the day, no one else is going to come and make me feel good in this body or this skin. And isn't that just all of our stories? Wondering if we're enough? If you've ever felt like you had to hustle for your worth, give away pieces of yourself for validation, just know that giving away that power to someone else becomes another way of feeding that monster of unworthiness trying to control you. The only way to silence that monster is by filling yourself with your own love and validation. Because giving away pieces of yourself won't make you whole.
Yeah.